Have you ever heard a place so quiet it's deafening? Tonight, I'm going to tell you a story that's been whispered among correctional officers for decades. It's not about ghosts or ghouls, but about something far more chilling. A sudden, unnatural silence in a place that's never, ever quiet. This is the story of the night the prison went silent. Our story takes place in the late 1970s at a maximum security prison, a fortress of concrete and steel designed to hold the most hardened criminals. Prisons are noisy places, day and night. There's a constant hum of activity. The clang of metal doors, the murmur of hundreds of voices, the shouts, the arguments, the coughs. It's a symphony of human misery, but it's a constant. You get used to it. The noise means things are normal. It's the silence you have to worry about. The officer who shared this story, let's call him Miller, was working the graveyard shift. It was a typical night, just past 2 a.m. The inmates were locked down, the lights were dimmed, but the usual cacophony of snores, whispers, and restless movements echoed through the cell block. Miller was doing his rounds, the rhythmic tap of his boots on the polished floor a familiar beat against the prison-esque background noise. He walked the long, dim corridor, glancing into each cell. Everything was as it should be. He reached the end of the block and turned back. That's when he first noticed it. The noise was fading. It wasn't sudden, like a switch being flipped. It was more like a volume knob being slowly, deliberately turned down. The coughing stopped. The whispers died out. The snores ceased. Within a minute, the entire cell block, home to over 200 men, had fallen into a complete and total silence. Miller froze, his heart pounding in his chest. This was wrong. This was deeply, fundamentally wrong. An eerie, heavy, quiet pressed in on him from all sides. He strained his ears, listening for anything. A footstep, a breath. But there was nothing. The air itself felt thick, charged with an unspoken dread. His radio, usually crackling with chatter from other parts of the prison, was dead silent too. He keyed his mic. Central Control, this is Miller and C. Do you copy? Static. He tried again. Anyone on the net? This is C Block. Radio check. Nothing but a faint hiss. Panic started to set in. Was it a coordinated escape attempt? A riot brewing in the darkness. He drew his heavy flashlight, its beam cutting a nervous path through the gloom. He cautiously walked back down the corridor, peering into each cell. What he saw made his blood run cold. Every single inmate was awake. They weren't sleeping. They were standing or sitting bolt upright on their bunks, all of them staring. Not at him, but straight ahead. At the wall. At nothing. Their eyes were wide, vacant, as if they were seeing something he couldn't. Not a single man moved. Not a single one blinked. It was like a block full of statues. He shone his light directly into the face of a notoriously violent inmate, a man who would start a fight for looking at him the wrong way. The man didn't flinch. Ehust starred his expression, a mask of pure, unadulterated terror. Miller moved from cell to cell, and the scene was the same. 200 men, frozen in a state of silent, collective fear. The silence was no longer just an absence of sound. It felt like a presence, a living thing that was smothering the very air in the block. Just as the panic was about to consume him, just as he was about to break protocol and hit the main alarm, a single cough echoed from the far end of the hall. It was like a spell being broken. One cough was followed by another. 10. A mumbled and the sound of someone shifting on their bunk. The familiar, chaotic hum of the prison flooded back in, as if the volume had been abruptly turned back up. His radio crackled to life with a routine check-in from another guard. Within seconds, everything was back to normal. The inmates were moving, talking, sleeping. When Miller tried to ask them what happened, they either stared at him blankly, with no memory of the event, or became aggressively defensive, refusing to speak of it. The other officers on duty that night reported nothing unusual. It was as if those 10 minutes of terrifying silence had only happened inside Miller's head and inside C. To this day, no one knows what caused the silence that night. Was it mass hysteria? A shared nightmare? Or did something truly unseen walk the halls of C Block? Something so terrifying it literally scared 200 hardened criminals into silent paralysis. Whatever it was, the veteran officers will tell you that true horror isn't always a scream. Sometimes, it's the absolute, unnatural silence that follows. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe for more true stories from the dark side of life.